Hello, beautiful people. So this is part 2 of our order of operations examples. So here's example 1, which is using the order of operations. So the first example is kind of simple, but before we get into it, I really want us to, on the left-hand side, refresh what we learned in the previous video. And by that, I mean, I want to refresh what those 4 steps were to solving using order of operations. So the first thing that you look for in any expression is going to be parentheses or brackets, or grouping symbols, okay? Ooh, my squiggly brackets looked a lot better that time. Nice job. Okay, so that's the first thing that you're looking for. After you've taken care of the squiggly brackets or any other grouping symbols, you're going to deal with exponents. Remember, exponents are anything to a power, like a to the second, b to the third, so on and so forth. Any power, to the third, to the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, whatever. Okay, after you've dealt with those 2 things, which remember are mostly things that you deal with in middle school, all these other things, or the last 2, are things that you've already learned about in elementary school. And that's going to be, you're going to start with multiplication and division from left to right. Okay, the important thing here is that you go from left to right. So if you have division first in a left to right symbol, then you do the division first. If you have multiplication first, you do the multiplication first. Okay, and the last thing, of course, is subtraction and addition. Again, left to right. Okay, so unlike what you may remember, you don't have to do addition before you do subtraction. You just have to do whatever comes first in the expression. Okay. All right, so let's start with this expression over here. We are going to solve it using purple. So I noticed that I have subtraction here and I've got multiplication here. So if I'm looking through this, do I have any brackets or grouping symbols? I don't see a single pair of grouping symbols, so I don't have anything. Do I have any exponents? Again, I don't see any powers raised. However, do I have any multiplication or division? Right you are, I have some multiplication, so I'm going to do that first. So when I multiply, I'm going to do 2 times 4 first, which is 8. Okay. And then one of the key things that I have us all do, and I want you to do it, because even now, though I've been in math classes since I was in elementary school, and though I took like a bunch of math classes in college, I always rewrite the expression. Because if I don't, I might forget something. So always rewrite it. So I'm going to bring that 12 down because I haven't done anything with it, and the subtraction sign. So this becomes 12 minus 8. And now that it only has one operation, I just do that. 12 minus 8 is 4. Okay, there's my answer. Nice job. Now take a minute, pause this, make sure that you understand that, and we're going to go on to the next one. Okay, you should have paused and you should be back now. I'm going to draw this line over here. Our next part of example 1 is a little more complicated than the first one. You'll notice it's more complicated because it's got a bunch of grouping symbols. Okay, so we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did last time. We're going to start with number 1. Are there any grouping symbols? Yeah, absolutely. I've got, not only do I have brackets here, but I have parentheses also. Okay, now when I have grouping symbols inside of other grouping symbols, it's called nested. Okay, so and there's a special rule for when you have nested grouping symbols. When you have nested grouping symbols, okay, and nested of course means one inside the other, then you need to do the innermost first. Do the innermost first. Okay, and that's because you want to deal with what's on the inside before you deal with what's on the outside. That's how grouping symbols work. It's telling you to deal with those things first. Okay, so we're going to start with these innermost brackets. 4 plus 2 is 6. And then I'm going to rewrite just like I did the last time. So I do times 5. I do 60 divided by, and then these brackets on the outside are still here, but because I did 4 plus 2 already, those inner brackets disappear. Okay. Now, I still have the second pair of brackets.